what's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color and to another episode of the Physical Media Rundown here on the channel. Hope everything is going well with you guys. Hope it's a good start to your week. Let me know if everything sounds good and everything looks good. Hopefully there's no technical difficulties this week. We're going to go over all the new releases like we always do. Blu-ray, 4K, everything coming out this week, and then we'll have a discussion topic talking in the chat, which we'll have more time to talk about tonight because there's not a lot of releases this week. It's a very small week, so we'll dive into some discussion with you guys about collecting, physical media, all that good stuff, and maybe look at some international releases this week, especially because we got a very small week. We're going to go, like we always do, every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we shoot this show. If you watch after the fact on the replay, really appreciate that as well. Make sure you let me know in the comments below. But if you are watching live, let's see who's here in the live chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Really helps out the stream and helps out the channel overall. Let's see who we got. Wow, a lot of people already here in the chat. Let me hop in here. Collector Movie Man is here. Marty DMC is here. Look, they're having a conversation about some technical difficulties in their own collection, so I'll just let them have that conversation. I'll skip down a little bit. Internet User is here. Let me pull up my armrests. I feel weird without my armrests. Robert Rogers got here early, and the chat is already buzzing. It is. It's really popping tonight. Doug Waddle's here. Baloney is here. Kevin House is here. Dwayne The Rock Hudson is here. JT Michael Smith. And Van Gool is here. What's up, Van Gool? Your Fiend, Mr. Jones. Hey guys, my wife and I had our 4th anniversary last week, and I gave her 2 Criterion discs with Jimmy Stewart that she'd never seen, Destiny Rides Again and Winchester 73. She loved them both. Those are both great films, both great westerns, and James Stewart is excellent in both of them. I particularly like Destiny Rides Again. I thought that was wonderful, and I can't wait to revisit that one. Happy anniversary, man. I hope it went well, besides the movies. Van Gool says, you look good tonight. So no technical difficulties tonight. Magnitude Rev, hey DJ, hope you're doing well. Also, Sinners is phenomenal. Go support great original filmmaking in theaters. I've heard that. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've seen people on Letterboxd that I follow giving it like 4.5 stars, 5 stars. That's awesome. That's amazing. And it's good to see Ryan Coogler getting away from like the franchise films. Like he did Marvel, he did like the Creed films, and now he's apparently just killing it with this. I think it's like described as like a Deep South slow vampire film. It sounds cool. Me and Grace have to go see that. We don't go to the theaters very often. I wish I had waited. I actually went to the theaters recently. I was out of town. I was in Minneapolis for a business trip. That's why I was out of town all last week and no videos popped up. Sorry about that, but I had to go for work and it was a good time. And I did check out a Barnes & Noble there, and they had a really good media section. I shot a video, so that'll be up in the next couple days. Hopefully I can get that edited and up. And I went to the movies for the first time in a long time. I usually don't get to go to the theater, but I was out of town. I had a little free time. I went late, like after we went to dinner as a group, and I saw Death of a Unicorn, which I did not like at all. I did not think it was very good, so it was kind of a waste, but it was fun to get out and go to the theater and like walk through Minneapolis at like midnight when no one else was on the streets. It was pretty fun. Google's Trowel a Day. Is Kingdom of Heaven really that popular a title? I don't know. I mean, I know people that like it. It's a big director. Maybe he's talking to somebody else. Maybe that has context that I'm not aware of. But Magnitude Rev says, yeah, Southern Gothic Prohibition era vampire film. LOL, sounds like a mouthful, but it's great. And then Patrick says Ryan Coogler has taken on the X-Files project to reboot it. Well, I guess he's going right back to franchise stuff, but that's pretty cool. Magnitude says, I'm originally from Minnesota. Oh, cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get to see very much of it. I just stayed around our hotel because we were basically in meetings all week, but what I saw of it was pretty nice. The restaurants were good. Kevin House says, I have a very dear friend who can't stand Jimmy Stewart's voice. As a result, she hasn't even seen It's a Wonderful Life. Poor, unfortunate soul. Yeah, man, I don't even think his voice is that bad. Like, I feel like people who imitate his voice ramp it up a lot. Like, that was actually one of my favorite parts of the new Puss in Boots movie, with Jiminy Cricket being like a Jimmy Stewart Cricket and the hilarious voice he's doing. But he doesn't really sound like that. It's an exaggeration. But anyway, let's get into new releases. We can talk about movies later. The first one is going to kick off our discussion for the evening. This is Tombstone 4K Steelbook. Tombstone, big one. A lot of people very excited about this. I've already seen several YouTubers making videos about this, very angry that it's already gone out of print. You can see right here, it says pre-order pending over here. If you click on the link and go to Amazon, it's not available to pre-order anymore. Apparently it's completely sold out. There's probably going to be another release. I don't think it's going to be completely sold out, but it is kind of annoying that these keep selling out, especially the Steelbooks, before we even get a chance to pick them up. Like before they even release, before the release date, they're already going out of print, or not out of print, but sold out, and we have to wait for a second printing, especially because this is only available on Steelbook. It's another one of those Disney releases that's only getting a Steelbook for the 4K. There's no slipcover edition. I haven't seen any news about that. So here it is. We'll look at it together, even though you can't get it right now. Hopefully some of you guys have already pre-ordered it. Let me know if you have pre-ordered it and you've already got a copy or you're getting a copy soon. This is the Steelbook. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Back is kind of plain. Nothing too special, but you got a nice 4K disc inside. There's the image that's on the inside of the Steelbook. It's great. It's a standard Disney Steelbook. Price is still outrageous, but it's not as bad as the Deadpool one, which was like $65. This one's at $55.99. Still pretty ridiculous for one film Steelbook, 2 discs, 4K and a Blu-ray, and you get the digital, but like that should be standard. You shouldn't hike up the price for that. But it's Tombstone, 1993 Western film. It's very popular. We don't need to talk about the film. Everybody knows about the film. I want to talk about this phenomenon of, especially from Disney, I guess some other ones have had that same issue too, but just selling out before it even is available for the masses. Like we had the same issue. I feel like we've talked about it several times on this show in the past, because it's happened on several new releases. I'm not buying a lot of like mainstream studio releases these days. I'm mostly buying boutique, so it doesn't really happen to me unless it's a limited edition, which is a totally different thing. If it's limited edition, it sells out. That makes sense. But this, a very popular film, they should have prepared for. Maybe they didn't know how popular it was going to be. Maybe they underestimated the audience, but it seems, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts. Is it an accident, or are they trying to create this kind of collectability mentality, limited edition mentality, like the boutiques? I know they're pulling a lot from the boutiques. Some of the studios have their own little mini boutique labels at this point. That seems to be where the market's going. I'm okay with that with the boutique labels, but it does seem a little weird when the studios are jumping on the bandwagon. Let me know your thoughts. Let's talk about this briefly. We'll get into the rest of the new releases, and then we can continue the conversation after that. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Let me see if I can find someone that's talking about it. Here we go. This is from Google's. I wonder if Disney isn't releasing smaller batches to sell out immediately to keep the price up indefinitely. Tinfoil. Yeah, I mean, it's not that crazy. It seems like they are trying to create hype around these. That's a big news story when it completely sells out and everyone's talking about it. Like maybe they're learning from the Oppenheimer of it all. Like last year when that sold out, everybody was writing about it. It was a big thing. Like, oh no, Oppenheimer sold out. Like physical media is back. Maybe they're trying to artificially, it would not surprise me if Disney was trying to artificially hype up like bad publicity, but it's actually good publicity for their films. Dwayne The Rock Hudson agrees, says the same thing. It's artificial scarcity. See, that's not cool. Like if they actually weren't anticipating how many people wanted it and it just sold out, that's one thing. But if they are trying to do this sneaky stuff, it's unfortunate. Collector Movie Man, I don't know if any of you watch In Search of Physical Media, but he has insider information with studios, and I guess the Disney animated movies are going to be the only movies that get slipcovers. Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder why. So everything else is Steelbooks. All the other 4Ks you're saying are going to be Steelbooks. Only I like that because I like picking up the Disney 4Ks. I think they did Snow White and Cinderella, and then they just announced Lilo and Stitch. That's pretty cool. I like that those are getting slipcovers, but that's a weird line to draw that only those ones and everything else is getting Steelbooks. But I have watched some of his videos in the past. I'm not a regular, but he does good videos. He does good work and puts a lot of effort into his videos. Collector Movie Man says the other studios like 20th Century Fox and Hollywood Pictures and the other studio they own, when they remaster these movies, they're only going to be putting out Steelbooks for okay, so exactly what we just said. That's weird. So you're saying it's specifically the like stuff they've acquired, like Fox, and that's interesting. Well, hopefully they get better about putting enough out so people can buy them. Garceek, Karseek, I don't know how to pronounce your name. You're gonna have to let me know. Says, that's it. Like you said, it's just boutique marketing. Baloney says, is Disney doing it for Sony? According to that one comment, everything except for the Disney movie or the animated movies are getting Steelbooks. I don't think Disney is doing Sony, but Sony's supposed to be helping with the manufacturing of Disney. So I don't exactly know the relationship there, but maybe that has something to do with it. I know Sony has also done only Steelbook releases in the past. They did that with Taxi Driver, and that was kind of a big controversial thing. Like, a lot of people are up in arms about that. It's not the end of the world for me. I will buy a Steelbook if I have to, but it is nice to have your options. Jason says Tombstone is available on Steelbook on Amazon UK, including normal 4K with Blu-ray copy. That's pretty cool. It's always confusing how the rights are different between the UK or US or Australia or wherever you buy your stuff. That stuff always gives me a headache. But yeah, if you do miss out, maybe get the UK version, but I think you can hold on. I think we're going to get a second wave, a second launch of this film in the US too. I got the Great Silence 1968 4K and Life Force Arrow 4K from Orbit DVD. Gotta love Orbit. Yeah, that's another great resource. Orbit and Diabolic both do great stuff. Marty says the digital bits confirm Sony is going to make press more discs for both Tombstone and Kingdom of Heaven. It's a combination of being economically cautious and time to get discs pressed. That's good. So we do have confirmation that there's going to be more, so don't freak out. There's still going to be more of these, but I think it's still an interesting conversation to have about the reason behind this and why they're doing it and what your thoughts are on it. So continue to send me those thoughts in the live chat as we go through this. Collector Movie Man says, I have my Tombstone coming Wednesday. So some of them are still going through if you did pre-order it, which is great. But I guess we'll have to wait around for that second wave to come out. Let's start getting into the new releases for this week. Sneakers getting a 4K, mostly Kino Lorber stuff we're talking about this week. Not a lot coming out, but here's another 4K Blu-ray combo pack from Kino Lorber. Sneakers getting a 4K with maybe the worst poster I've ever seen. That's the poster. It's literally just the names of the actors from the director of Field of Dreams. And then you've got Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley, Mary McDonnell, River Phoenix, Sidney Poitier, and David Strathairn. I'm not familiar with David Strathairn. Maybe recommend some of his films. But this is Sneakers. And then you got a little sneak peek down here at the bottom of everybody's face. There you go. That's the poster. Hopefully the film is a lot better than the poster. 1992, the year of my birth. I always like to try to watch as many movies as I can from there. A security pro finds his past returning to haunt him when he and his unique team are tasked with retrieving a particularly important item. That's the vaguest, simplest synopsis ever. I kind of like it though. It keeps it vague. It doesn't give a lot away. There's no plot details in there pretty much at all. But there you go. 2-hour heist film from the 90s, Sneakers. I've actually heard about that. For some reason, that one has been mentioned many times in the circles I've run in. Next up, another Kino Lorber 4K. I was actually surprised this one got a 4K. This has been from Kino Lorber for a while. It had a Blu-ray release, and now it's Career Opportunities getting a 4K Blu-ray combo pack, another 90s film, 1991. I've seen this movie. I actually watched it just last year, I think. Me and Grace popped this one in. It is about a little it's kind of I don't want to say Ferris Bueller knockoff, but he's kind of a Ferris Bueller character, kind of this screw-up kind of character who just, I don't know. It's Ferris Bueller. Just imagine that stereotype. And then he is locked in a Target with this girl that he's really attracted to, played by Jennifer Connelly. Prime Jennifer Connelly in 1991. I think that's the main reason people like to watch this film. She's basically in this white tank top the entire film. And there's that big famous scene where she's like riding the little kids ride. It's a comedy from John Hughes. I don't think it's one of his best, but it's written by him. I don't think he's directed it. And he took the job that no one wanted and got the girl that everyone did. Just a very standard little comedy. Not really I guess it's a rom-com. It gets a little crazy at the end. I won't spoil anything. But if you ever wanted to watch a movie where they're completely locked in a Target, there you go. It's kind of fun. That's like the most fun thing about it, really. It's interesting to see Targets in the 90s. But there you go. Directed by Brian Gordon. Let me know your thoughts on Career Opportunities. That just got a release from, was it Imprint? Out of Australia. Got like a nice big Jennifer Connelly box set that included that one. Big day for people excited about that film. We've also got another Kino Lorber 4K. They're cranking them out this week. It is Foul Play from 1978, starring Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. Another comedy film, another rom-com, directed by Colin Higgins. And there's the cover on that one. Just a classic poster. That's great. That's a great poster. I actually like that one quite a bit. I'll show you the slipcover, but it is the same artwork, so nothing to write home about there. But a nice 4K slipcover from Kino Lorber. If you're keeping up, there's 3 more coming out this week, so grab those if you're interested. Let's talk to the chat a little bit about the Kino Lorber releases coming out. Let me know which one's your favorite. Dan's Den says Sneakers is definitely one I'm interested in looking at. Magnitude Rev says my personal experience for wanting to buy a Steelbook, but it was sold out before the actual release, was myself wanting the Steelbook for both Dune and Dune Part 2. I didn't realize that those both sold out before they were released. That's another big one. That's pretty crazy. Hope you're able to get the re-releases on that. Michael Smith, Strathairn is one of the great unknown actors. Mr. Jones loves Sneakers when it first came out, and says that Strathairn played Edward R. Murrow in Good Night and Good Luck. Thank you. Thanks for the recommendations. Collector Movie Man actually wrote In Search of Physical Media. I said to Disney and Studio better print a lot of copies for Con Air and Armageddon, because I bet those will sell out within an hour or 2. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably talking to them about those, because those are going to be big releases too. Dan's Den says, I thought you already talked about career opportunities on this show. We may have. I remember talking about it when I watched it, so maybe that's what it was. But now we got a new 4K release, so we got to talk about it again. Marty says Sneakers is very much an unofficial sequel to 3 Days of the Condor in a lot of ways for the Robert Redford character. And David Strathairn's best role was as Pierce Patchett in LA Confidential. Huh. There we go. More recommendations. Googles says, oh, career opportunities. You were important in your day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a reason this film is remembered for a lot of people. Dwayne The Rock Hudson, I think Jennifer Connelly has been in her prime for 35 years. That is also true. I didn't mean to besmirch Jennifer Connelly at all. Patrick Craig, I just got the career opportunities blue. Didn't feel I needed the 4K for that one. Love Jennifer Connelly though. LOL. Brian says Strathairn is one of our best actors. He's been in everything, it seems. I saw him on the stage a few years ago in SF. Well, that's cool. Interesting. So he's on stage too as well. Dan's Den says Foul Play, technically not Chevy Chase's film debut, even though it's often listed as such. Mr. Jones, that image for Sneakers is the original poster image. The best part of the poster was the tagline. We could tell you more, but then we'd have to kill you. Well, why did they remove that from the tagline? That's kind of weird. All right, let's get back. Those seem like interesting releases, but we've got a couple more Kino Lorbers. Do we have any more Kino Lorbers? Maybe just the Blu-ray versions of those. We do have one more Kino Classic that we'll get to in a minute, but before that, let's get to some more 4K releases coming out this week. Big horror film coming out, maybe for the first time on 4K. Maybe this already had a 4K release, but this is a 4K Blu-ray from Shout Factory. So a little boutique release of The Hunt. Only designated people may be hunted at the manor. From Blumhouse, the producer of The Purge. Wow, we're just giving... That's weird. It's not even anyone involved in making The Purge. It's just from the same studio. I guess we do that sometimes, but that seems like a really roundabout way to create some hype. 2020 film, The Hunt. Very similar in tone to The Purge, it looks like. But yeah, you can tell what it is. Kill the Rich movie that we keep making a lot of. That's kind of what Death of the Unicorn was, again, even though that was big a couple of years ago with Triangle of Sadness and The Menu and all that stuff. But here, it's still popular, and a lot of horror films do it, apparently. I haven't seen The Hunt, but maybe that's a popular one. Maybe that's why it's getting a 4K. It's pretty high on the list, so it seems to be pretty popular with people. That's our Shout Factory release for the week. We'll see if Shout Factory pops up any more this week. We've also got a big release from Criterion. I almost said Kino Lorber again. Criterion, my favorite boutique label, and this is a really exciting release from them, at least for me. I remember when we announced this a couple months back, talked about it with John a little bit. It's a big double feature. I love when Criterion does those, although it does raise the price quite a bit. Like, it's $70 for these two films. I'm going to pick it up in the July sale for 50% off, but list price is $70, which is pretty steep. There's the front right there. I'm nervous to even pronounce the... Look at that. That artwork is incredible. I love it. 1986. This is two films by Jean de Florette, Manon of the Spring, and... Oh, excuse me. Those are the two films. The director is Claude Berry. But yeah, Jean de Florette and Manon of the Spring. Two films by the same director. There are obviously individual... And this is what is so intriguing to me. I don't think it is. But the way they show that there's two different artworks for these makes me feel like it should be a digipack. I don't think it is a digipack release, though. I think it's just a standard artwork. But we do get separate artwork for both titles, which is pretty cool. There's the first one, Jean de Florette. And then we've got the second one here, Manon of the Spring. Beautiful artwork. I need to look up the artist who did all of this because it all looks so good. I'm excited about these French films from the 80s, an era of French cinema that I haven't really dabbled in very much other than Eric Rohmer stuff. I've seen a couple of his films from that period, but they look great. They look like period pieces. They look like a lot of fun, based on a novel. You can kind of tell just by looking at it, and it's kind of based on a novel, but I can't wait. I'm excited to dive into those. Double feature from Criterion. Sign me up for the July sale, but you can always pick it up early if you want to. If you really want to support Criterion, go ahead and pay the full price. I can't always do that, but I do support that. Then we've got a completely different release here, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, the complete franchise, not the complete collection, not the complete series, the complete franchise is what they're calling this set. We don't normally talk about TV on the show, but this is a fun one, 1990 to 1996. I didn't realize this ran that long. I wasn't a Captain Planet kid. I was a Magic School Bus kid. I did not have Captain Planet on whatever free cable I had at my house. But you know the story. It's Captain Planet. Everybody knows what it is. And it's getting a Blu-ray release, finally, after all these years. And it's just a straight-up Warner Brothers. Not even Shout Factory or anything. Just a straight-up Warner Brothers release. That's kind of fun. List price of $100 is not that fun. But if you're a huge Captain Planet fan, got to pick it up. Got to grab that one. Add it to the collection. So 3 wildly different things I just threw out you right there. So let's go ahead and talk about those real quick before we move on. Fiend Mr. Jones, The Hunt. I loved it. A really subversive satire and the mighty Betty Gilpin in the lead. Okay, so big fan of The Hunt is Mr. Jones. We've also, let me scroll back up a little bit and see what people said about these. Michael Smith, I recently got a Kino 4K of Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. A stacked disc for Kino. Sometimes Kino will surprise you. Like, they're usually kind of bare bones, but sometimes they'll cram a ton of special features in there. Magnitude Rev. I actually just recorded a Kino video right before I started this live stream for my Kino Lorber sale haul. So look forward to that. That'll be coming soon. Chomp Vegan. I like career opportunities. Weirdly nostalgic for me. That makes sense. If you saw it at the time, I'm sure it's very nostalgic for you. Dan Sten says The Hunt is a neat concept, but it's a misfire. Magnitude also says The Hunt is meh. So mixed reactions on The Hunt. Internet user, I watched Manon of the Spring today. Both that and Jean de Florette are great films. I can't wait. I'm excited. Those are the ones I'm most excited about, probably for the whole week. Those will be added to my Criterion wish list right after this stream. I haven't done that yet, but I need to add those. Robert says, got my really chunky Skinavo. Pause. I need to ask you guys a question. How do you say that? I've said Skinavo before, but I don't think that's right. I think it is Skinavo. Is that how you pronounce that? It's the kind of case that Criterion's come in, those Skinavo cases. Robert said he got his chunky Skinavo of the 2 French films, so it is just a Skinavo case. It's not a digipack. Kind of a bummer. I love digipacks, but I'll pick it up anyway. He got it on Saturday and watched it all on Sunday. Criterion did a fantastic job with the 4K upgrade. Chef's kiss. Awesome. So it's great. I can't wait to see it. You had a little Easter watch party with some French movies. Sounds good. I ended up watching Easter Parade for the first time yesterday with Grace. We had a good time watching that. Didn't hold up for me as well as I was hoping. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was a fun Easter watch. Marty says, speaking of Jennifer Connelly, I wish Disney would put out a 4K of The Rocketeer. Hard co-sign with you. I totally agree. The best comic book movie ever made, in my opinion. Wow, that's high praise. And directed by Joe Johnston. Exactly. I love his stuff. I'm still a big fan of the first Avenger. Just for the feel of it. Speaking of nostalgia, like, I love The Rocketeer, and that definitely needs a 4K. I would pick that up, even if it was a Steelbook. I love Joe Johnston. He's great. And Alvin Sinestri, did he also do the score for that? I think he did. I know he did First Avenger, but I can't remember if he did Rocketeer as well. What else are people saying about these movies? Magnitude Rev also wants the double feature. It's on my July sale haul list, alongside Anora being my other must-buy that I want desperately. Yeah, it's a good month. It is going to be a crazy July. I feel like they've announced so many great things these last few months leading up to the July sale that it's going to be a big hit to the wallet come July for most of us. Josh, you kind of answered this last week, but since I saw One False Move recently from the recent flash sale, it's now my top movie of the year I was born, 1922. Since you're a 92 kid too, what's yours? This is a great question, and I am going to have to do a little research. I'm gonna pull up my Letterboxd here because I want to give my real answer. So I'm gonna go to I love the Letterboxd has the feature to look by year, search by year. So I'm at 1992. I'm gonna sort by your highest rating, and we'll see what comes up. Oh, okay. So it's a toss up for me. It's two of my favorites. One is an Eric Romer film, one is a Guillermo del Toro film. Two of my favorite directors. The Player was there for a while, but I recently watched these two films and love both of them. A Tale of Winter is the Eric Romer film. I think it's competing for the best of the Tales of the Four Seasons, which is 4 films that Eric Romer did. One for each season. I think Summer is my favorite of that, but Winter is a close second. Winter is just as good. It's great. And then also Kronos, Guillermo del Toro's first ever feature film. And it's in the Spanish language. And I think it still holds up great. I know it's a very simple film. I know people think he has moved well past it, and I think he has too. I like some of his other films even more. But I love Kronos, and I still love it. Even after rewatching it, I rewatched it just this past year on New Year's, because it's a film that goes through Christmas and New Year's. I love it. I showed it to Grace this year for the first time, and I loved it again. It holds up. I really want to get the BFI 4K of Kronos that they just released, because it's one of my favorite movies. But yeah, it's a toss-up between Kronos and A Tale of Winter. I guess I have to give it to Kronos just because I've seen that more. I've only seen Tale of Winter once, but they're both amazing. So those would be my two for 1999. But like I said, I still have a lot more to see. I have not seen enough movies from 1992. There's plenty. But what did you say? You said yours was One False Move. That's on the list. I need to watch that one. Maybe that'll pass it for me. I know there's a lot of things that probably will pass Kronos, but I just have a soft spot for it. It's great. I've probably told this story before, but I remember I woke up. I don't usually wake up super early, but I woke up at like 4 a.m. that morning. I couldn't get back to sleep, and it was around Christmas time, and I had heard that Kronos was a little bit of a Christmas movie, so I just went downstairs and started watching it, and my daughter, who was a baby at the time, woke up, so I went up to her room and picked her up and brought her down and watched the rest of the movie with her in my arms, and it's a father-daughter movie, like a surrogate father. He's his grandfather taking care of his granddaughter, and it's about like legacy and, fear of death, and it's about all these things that I was thinking about while holding my newborn daughter, and I had a really amazing experience watching that for the first time. So I'll never forget that. I'm sure I'll see movies that surpass it, but that was a really special night, or special morning, I guess, early morning that I watched that for the first time. What else are people saying? Great question, by the way. I love the questions. I'm not always great at answering them, but I'm happy I was able to give you a good answer for that one. Joshua Lee Beer, I love Captain Planet. I don't think I can talk myself into buying it, though. Yeah, $100 is steep. I don't know how well that's going to sell. Let's see. Oh, interesting. I got the Karate Kid box set you have on sale for 25% off. I got that for super cheap. I got that for $30 at Best Buy back in the day. Remember that? Remember Best Buy used to sell movies? I got it randomly when we were visiting my wife's parents out of town, and I was just looking through the Best Buy and I saw that for super cheap. I was like, that's awesome. I'm going to pick that up. It's a great set. It's moved around a little bit. I think it's down there now in the blue section. Mr. Jones, Rocketeer 4K, 100%. Totally agree. Thank you, Dan's Den. Rocketeer's score was James Horner. Another great. Just as good. Kevin House says Easter Parade is one of my top 10 favorite films. You can't beat Fred and Judy together. Oh, they're great. Especially, yeah, I love watching Fred Astaire just dance it up. Joshua Lee Bird, my mother-in-law, maybe she's your favorite mother-in-law, So was very excited that I gave her my YouTube TV password so she could watch Easter Parade on TCM. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they showed full movies on YouTube for TCM. That's pretty cool. Oh, you're saying YouTube TV. That's right. I used to have YouTube TV. I don't have it anymore. I don't have any streaming services right now, actually. Here we go. This is what I need to know. Robert says, I say Scanavo, not Scanavo, LOL, but I could be wrong. I don't know, man. I watch Elliot, and Elliot says Scanavo, but you can never tell because we pronounce things differently over here in the States. But I think recently Jake has been doing some releases with Scanavo, and I think he says Scanavo. So that's what I'm saying. Sorry if it's wrong. I don't know. Just let me know. Magnitude. I need to see more films for my birth year, 1998. Surprise, I'm in my 20s, LOL. Wow, well, that's great. My answer is probably The Truman Show, but I wish I had a deeper cut answer of mine. 1998. See, this could be a whole stream just picking our favorite films from each year. Truman Show's high up there for me. I think my favorite film from 98 is a recent one that I just saw. Oh, okay. So yeah, there's a lot up there. Obviously, you've got The Big Lebowski, which is one of my wife's favorite movies. Love watching that with her. Pleasantville, and then Simple Plan is my most recent 98 film that I watched just this year and loved it. So it's up there right now. It's in contention for my favorite. Internet user, now combine A Tale of Winter and Chronos for the ultimate DJ pick. Yeah, they're very different. Complete opposite ends of my sensibilities, but I like both of them a lot. Google's also has heard Scanavo. Okay, well, maybe I should stick with my gut and just say Scanavo. Have you ever seen the funniest Disney live-action film ever made that's never talked about, called Heavyweights? It was Ben Still as the antagonist and produced by Judd Apatow. It's on Disney+. I've not seen it, but I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, so I've heard everybody talk about Heavyweights. It's about like a fat camp, right? Like a you're supposed to go to camp and lose weight. That's basically what the story is. It's a comedy, like a kid's comedy. Never seen it, but I'd love to go back to it. I don't know if it's one that holds up when you're an adult or if it's one that you had to see when you're a kid and have nostalgia for. But yeah, I've heard of it. I know what it is. What else we got here? Let me jump back. I'm going to jump back in. New releases. We'll talk more at the end of this. Been going for about 30 minutes. I'm not sure how long my voice is going to hold up because I shot 2 videos right before I started this live stream. We've got, is this another TV show? No, it's not. Cheyenne. Yeah, it is. Cheyenne, the complete series, 1955 to 1962. This is Warner Archive. We just had a huge Warner Archive sale. I shot a video for my haul for that. I'll get that up soon before the Kino video. That's probably my very next video that I'll be putting up. But this is a complete series from Warner Archive. They've been doing a ton of stuff lately. They put out a lot of Blu-rays, a lot of classic stuff. They've been dipping their toe in 4Ks. They did The Searchers, which everyone was losing their mind about last year. And then they just announced High Society is going to be their second 4K release, which is awesome. Someone in the chat just freaked out about the runtime of this show. It's huge. It's massive. It's 5,500 minutes. How many seasons is that? 55 to 62? So it's almost 10 seasons. That is a huge runtime. I don't know how big. I don't have a picture of the side of this, but this must be a huge chunky box. That's insane. But yeah, they've been doing 4Ks, and now they've been doing TV shows. They were doing everything. Warner Archive is great. They're a great, solid boutique label. Not a lot of bells and whistles, but they put out a lot of stuff. And this is a lot of hours, 7 seasons of a Western show. So there you go. If that's your cup of tea, check it out. That's going to be available this week as well. We've also got from 88 Films, a boutique label I still haven't partaken in, and we never talk about on this channel, but it's Yakuza Wives on Blu-ray, which is a 120-minute film from 1986. A Japanese film, I'm assuming, although I have no reason to say that because it doesn't list it on Blu-ray.com. But there you go, Yakuza Wives. It is just it looks like a action. Wow, it's very gruesome. R-rated action drama film from Japan. It's got the Scanavo case right there from 88 Films. I like those boutique labels that like to spruce things up with the fancy cases. Makes you feel like you get a little something special. And then they're also releasing Lady with the Sword, another No, this is a Chinese film. Maybe the last one was Chinese as well. This one actually says it's in Mandarin, and it is a straight-up martial arts action film. A young lady tries to find a group of villains responsible for her eldest sister's death, but is shocked to discover that her fiancé is one of them. So like a revenge thriller, martial arts Hong Kong action film from 88 Films. I should have assumed that. I know 88 Films does a ton of Hong Kong action stuff, so that was my bad. But there's a slipcover on that one. 88 Films, really cool artwork. Reminds me of Arrow Video. There's a lot of crossover, I feel like, with the Shaw Brothers films. Some come out from Arrow, some come out from 88 Films. You know what you're getting at this point if you collect those two lines. Then we've also got a third film from 88 Films, Jokomon and Tetsu. Another, I'm assuming, action Chinese film from 1964. It looks a little bit more serious than the last one. Maybe not, but just based on the cover art, it doesn't look as action-y as the last one. But there you go. 3 films coming out this week from 88 Films. Let me know if you are a big collector of 88 Films in the chat, because I obviously, as you can tell by me stumbling through this, am way out of my depth when it comes to 88 Films. I mentioned them briefly in a recent video because I picked up the Project A films, and they just did a 4K box set of those. That looks really nice. I'd like to get into them. It's just super intimidating. It's a whole like genre of, and whole continent of films that I'm just so, completely inexperienced on. So I'd like to get into more of that. If you have any like big recommendations for me, I'll always take a look at those. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a huge blind spot for me. Now we're going to jump back to Kino Lorber here for a little bit with The Cruel Sea. This is just a Blu-ray release from 1953. It is starring Jack Hawkins, Donaldson. Interesting. So this is a war film, drama film, maritime film, directed by Charles Friend. 1953. Little 2-hour serious war drama film. So all over the place this week. We don't even have really a theme this week. We have some martial arts films. We have some more modern films. We have a lot of 90s stuff, Westerns, French films, everything. This is a very just grab bag sort of week. There's not really a theme going on. We got a couple more things to mention, just 2 more things, and then I'll talk to you guys in the chat, and we'll close out the rest of this video. We got another Kino Classics release here from 1930. Oh, holy, this is actually fascinating. So this is a Paul Robeson film, which I have recently been really interested in. I wish they would do a complete collection of his stuff. So Paul Robeson, if I'm correct about this, there's a Criterion collection of his stuff. And I almost picked it up in the last Criterion flash sale, but he's like this really early, like 20s and 30s African-American actor who did a lot of stuff. And he has a Criterion box set. He has it. Like he's not part of it, but there's a Criterion box set of his stuff. I almost picked it up in the last Criterion flash sale. I didn't pick it up at the last minute because it was only DVD, and I wanted to wait and maybe see. I need to do more research to see if some of those were released on Blu-ray. I didn't want to pick up the DVD box set yet, but it is still in print. You can still get it. It is only DVD. I wish Criterion would upgrade it to Blu-ray. Maybe I'll pick it up eventually because I am trying to pick up the earlier silent stuff from Criterion. But I just wanted to do more research and see if there was any of those films available on Blu-ray. And here's one of them. This is Borderline. I don't know if this is in the box set or not, but this is one of the films from Paul Robeson. A Negro woman having an adulterous affair with a white man causes his wife to go mad and reinforces the town folks' prejudice against, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that word on YouTube, but against African Americans. But there we go. Borderline is on Blu-ray, 1930. That's actually really cool. I'm going to have to add that to my wish list and then compare to the Criterion and see if that's one of the ones that's in the set. That's really cool. That's another pleasant surprise from this week that I didn't know was coming out. And then we've also got Tandaberry from Tribeca Film, which is a romance drama film from just 2024. Looks kind of like a dance film, but I don't think it is. As her boyfriend returns to Ukraine to care for his ailing father, 23-year-old Dakota faces the challenges of a precarious new reality, navigating the complexities of survival in New York City on her own. So yeah, there you go. Just a straight up drama film. Very recent film from 2024. And I think that's all we got this week. There's one more here from Breaking Glass, Lost on a Mountain in Maine, another 2024 film. Very, very small, low-budget indie film. The incredible true story based on the best-selling book. So, from producer Sylvester Stallone. That's weird, but there you go. Haven't heard of that film. That's also coming out this week on Blu-ray if you want to check it out. This is how granular we get on the show. We talk about everything. But that Paul Robeson was a pleasant surprise. Let me know if you guys know anything about that one or the DVD box set from Criterion, because I'm fascinated about that. That's something I've been looking into recently. All right, let's scroll back up. Scroll back up and see what people are saying. People freaking out about the runtime of that Western show. Sheehan was Warner Brothers' big leap into television production in the 50s, and its success made the other Western shows like Sugarfoot and Maverick possible. Interesting. Thank you, Jones. Patrick Craig says 88 Films does Japanese films too. In addition to Hong Kong Chinese films, I have Gate of Flesh pre-ordered from them. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that I didn't make an assumption there. JT, The Cruel Sea is excellent. I ordered it from Kino and it shipped last week. Wow. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Like Kino releases so many films, first of all, but sometimes they go back and into the archives and pick up some films that you guys and other people are not really excited about, but it's nice when they grab a great one. And it sounds like The Cruel Sea is a great one. Kevin House is here. Baloney. Criterion sells the Skenevo cases 5 for $15. Yeah, I would love to. The problem is it's a different size. Like you can't just put this into a Skenevo case because they're taller, obviously. They go to the top here. So it would be nice to have like a line of Skenevo cases, but you can't swap them out. You can buy like, I've seen people that make custom Criterion artwork and put it in Skenevo cases for things that got like digipack releases or box sets, and they don't like the box sets. So I've seen a lot of people make their own custom Godzilla Skenevo cases and artwork because they don't like the big giant book packaging that Criterion did for that one. So that's kind of fun. I'm not that serious about it. I usually use the packaging that it comes with. Google says, I didn't enjoy The Cruel Sea, a bit too stiff upper lip, even for me. Internet user says, back at it with the Sweet Frog and Toad shirt. Yeah. Can't see it right now because your comment is blocking it, but there it is. Oh, Patrick Craig, I'm very excited for these Robeson releases. He was an amazing human. Rest in power. I highly recommend Gerald Horne's book on Paul Robeson. Okay, so you're saying these Paul Robeson releases. So have they announced like several of these? Because if that's the case, I'll probably pick those up instead of the Criterion DVD set. And if I wanted to be a crazy person, I could buy the Criterion DVD set and then just put these Blu-rays in that set. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking these out. And if they are going to release more of these, that's very exciting because he just popped on my radar on this last Criterion flash sale. I just found out about him because I did a video about this. I'm going back to the beginning of Criterion, starting at like the 1920s and moving all the way up in like chronological order. And if you didn't see that video, I talked briefly about almost picking up this Paul Robeson set. Held off because I wanted to see if there was any Blu-rays. And if Kino's going to continue to put these out, that's really, really cool. I'm actually thinking about starting a series, and I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but I just picked up from Flickr Alley, King of Kings and Nanak of the North, which are both films that are in the Criterion collection, stuck on DVD and out of print. And Flickr Alley now has the rights, and they put out these really nice Blu-ray editions. Nanak of the North is like years old, like really old. Finally picked that one up. Still in print, amazingly. But I also picked up King of Kings, which just came out like 15 days ago, or less than that. It came out on April 15th. Brand new release from Flickr Alley. So I'm going to start picking up things that are stuck on DVD or out of print from Criterion and picking up better versions from other labels, just to give people some information about what else is out there if you want to have the best version of these films. So I'm going to be paying attention to these Paul Robeson films, keeping up with that. Let me know if you have any other information about that, Patrick, because that is very exciting and very interesting. Dan's Den, Paul Robeson notably was an actor who stuck to his convictions. He was disgusted by the stereotypes in his segment, 1942's Tale of Manhattan. He up and quit films altogether. Yeah, I heard about that. I was talking a little bit about John about this, and he says he kind of got like blacklisted in Hollywood for his strong views, and that's unfortunate because it sounds like he's great. He's been in a lot of films. One of the films in the Criterion DVD box set that intrigued me was it took place in Atlanta, and I don't know if it was shot in Atlanta, but I'm from Atlanta, and it was a silent film, and to see what the streets looked like at that time period was really, really cool. I love that kind of snapshot in time capsule movies from the 20s. That's one of the best things about Safety Last and like some of Harold Lloyd's films. What's the other one? Speedy. Speedy's another good one that takes place like in the downtown streets, shot on location, and you can see what streets were like back then. It's really cool. Big Al. May not be your genre, but getting back into boutiques, which company would be best for me? I love Japanese Hong Kong noir and crime stuff, triad, Yakuza type stuff. Well, definitely check out Radiance, because Radiance is almost exclusively putting out Japanese crime films. They're also putting out a lot of Italian films, but some people like criticize them for how many Japanese crime films they're putting out. They've really been leaning into the Japanese crime film genre. Definitely check out Radiance Films. They are UK label, but they have UK and US releases. I've been trying to get like a deal or a partnership with Radiance for a long time, but they're very small. And from what I've heard, they don't do like review copies because they don't have very many copies available. So, but they do send out like review discs, which I'm kind of interested in, but also I know my viewers want to see the packaging and stuff. So I'm kind of on the fence about I don't know. I've been emailing them, but I don't know if it's going to work out or not. But they're a great label. I have bought many of their releases that they haven't sent me. I've just bought them because I'm very interested in them. I've shown off some of the box sets in the past and some of the single releases, and they've been putting out more stuff soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also talking to friend of the channel, Sam, who has done some artwork for Criterion and other boutique labels. He has his first artwork on a Radiance title coming out soon, and I may be interviewing him or talking to him about what it's like to be an artist on a boutique label. We've been talking about it. We don't have a set date or anything, but it's something that we want to do, so hopefully that can happen soon. Mr. Jones says Lost in a Mountain in Maine is a very famous true story in Maine. A schoolboy got lost on a camping trip and survived for a week to 10 days. Maine school kids are taught about that kid survive. Wow, interesting. Maine school kids sound a lot tougher than Atlanta school kids. I don't know if I could survive a week to 10 days as a kid in the wilderness. I think I would probably die pretty quickly. Magnitude Rev, I looked up the Letterboxd score for The Cruel Sea, and it's decently reviewed on the site, and I went in ahead and watch listed it just now. Well, cool. Well, see, that's what I do the show for. Spreading the news about what's coming out. And that's why I like it, because it shows me about stuff like this, like the Paul Robeson thing. Ethan Edwards. The 3 Hitchcock 4K sets are designed so you have to get fingerprints on the disc to remove them. It's dumb. I recently had the same thing because I'm doing the Pasolini marathon. I'm watching through all of Pasolini's films in the Pasolini 101 box set. It's also the same way, like the discs are shoved way down into a cardboard thing, and there's no way to get it out by the sides. You have to pinch it and pull the disc out and get fingerprints on the disc. Hasn't affected it. They've played fine, but it is pretty annoying. I see why people were so upset about that packaging when it came out. Robert Rogers, the Paul Robeson DVD box set was mentioned in the new Criterion Closet video with Franklin Leonard. He was talking about needing a Paul Robeson biopic out of the... Interesting. I'm way behind. I haven't watched the Criterion Closet videos in a long time. I need to catch up. It's crazy that it's still in print. I wish they would just upgrade to a Blu-ray set. They just upgraded... we had a DVD set that jumped all the way to 4K recently in the recent announcements. So that was a Francois Truffaut set. This is very different, but I would go crazy. I guess I don't know if there's really a reason to upgrade it to 4K because they're really old classic silent films, but that would be insane if they upgraded that one. Patrick Craig, I think I saw there will be several Robeson releases from Kino. I'm not certain how many. I think 3 or 4. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to see if they're crossovers with the Criterion set, because that would be amazing. Looking forward to that. Thanks, Patrick Craig. I don't know where you get your news from, but you're always better informed than I am. 12 pack. I bought a ton more Kino Lorber titles for the last day of the sale tonight. Oh, it's the last day tonight. None of those being Columbo, which kind of bums me out. but oh well. Yeah, those Columbo sets are expensive, so I understand why. But I may need to do one last final check to see if there's any Kino Lorber sets that I want. Speaking of this whole era of African-American film, there was a recent box set from Kino Lorber that I saw, and I don't remember the name of it, but I was really interested in that set. It was another early African-American filmmaker, and there was a couple box sets actually from Kino Lorber. They had like a Pioneers of African-American Film and a Pioneers of Women in Film. There's a couple sets. I kind of want to look that up, but I don't want to get us too far off track. But there's a couple Kino Lorber box sets that I didn't even know about that seem really cool, and I like to go into those because Kino Lorber doesn't usually do really nice box sets. They usually kind of just keep it bare bones. So when they go all out for those collections, that's really cool. I get excited about that. What else do we have in the chat? Magnitude Rev, I own 4 Radiance titles. Myself personally just picked up The Eel that was released just last week. I saw that, and that sounds really interesting. That's another Radiance title. Radiance is like, they're putting out so many things that I'm interested in, but just can't afford or can't prioritize right now, which is a shame because they're really affordable. They got really cheap prices, but I'm just pull it in too many different directions. There's too many boutique labels going on right now. Internet user, today I watched a film called Vivacious Lady starring James Stewart and Ginger Rogers. Really liked it. I'll have to add it to the list. Another James Stewart picture. Kevin House says, we're still talking about The Cruel Sea. Leonard Maltin's movie guide gives The Cruel Sea 3.5 out of 4 stars. I'll probably order it one of these days. One of these days. I'll throw it in the wish list. But yeah, like I said, so many things coming out, it's really hard to prioritize everything. Marty says, I finally got around to watching Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, followed by Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. I was disappointed with Garrett, Billy the Kid, which puts me in the minority, I suppose. Wow, yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about that one. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Oscar Michaud? That's who I was talking about. They put out like a complete works of Oscar Michaud, which is like a silent film director from back in the day. Very, very cool. Oh, and Ethan says he has the other 2 sets. They have 2 women filmmaker sets and the African-American and a Jewish set. I have them all. That's awesome. I would love to get those. They're pretty pricey. They're like $80. You know, I'm actually going to pull these up because now you got me curious. I'm really tempted to pick at least 1 or 2 of these up. I don't think they're on a big sale right now. Like I know they're doing a Kino Lorber sale, and they advertise it as like $5 releases, but that's like single releases. These are expensive. I'm going to go to the sale. I'm going to switch it to price high to low. Blu-ray price high to low. Here we go. Let's see what we got. There's the Columbo set. $65. Here we go, right here. Pioneer of African American Cinema. Oh, it's only $40 right now. It's only $40. That's like, that's very tempting. That's actually a really good deal. $40 for how many films? 5 discs. Oh, that's good. MSRP $100. So that's what I was talking about, the Pioneers of African American Cinema. And then I saw the one film. I didn't know there was 2 though. According to Ethan Edwards, there's 2. Who knows, guys? I might be making my last Kino Lorber order right after we get off this call. Here's the other one. No, that's a different one. That might be what he's talking about with the cinema's first nasty women. So there it is. That's a big Blu-ray box set. That one's on sale for only $25 right now, which is fascinating. That's another early, I guess I got to put my money where my mouth is. I keep saying I like 20s and 30s films and silent era stuff. I guess I got to go ahead and fork over the money for these box sets. We've also got, I saw another one. Oh, there's the Jewish one. He's right. The Jewish Soul Classics of Yiddish Cinema. Man, so you have all of these? I'm so jealous. I'm super jealous of this. Kino Lorber, man. They put out cool stuff. I need to get caught up on those. Anyway, that was just a side tangent that I've been thinking about lately. Magnitude Rev. Oh, by the way, DJ, I have a title waiting for you in your P.O. box. Not anymore, sir. I actually picked it up last week. I already shot like an unboxing of it. I just haven't got it up because I've got so many videos. I'm very behind, but thank you so much. Magnitude sent me a copy of Monster, which is one of his favorite films of 2023. I think it was 2 years ago, and I now have it. It showed up fine. It still had the slipcover on it. It actually showed up the same day as another P.O. Box release from someone else that sent me a package. So I did a little short video. I'll get that up in just a couple days. I put a short up today, guys, if you haven't seen it, for some new Viavision limited edition releases. Those are really fun. I got a full review of those coming later, but for now you can see what they look like. I had a great time with those releases. Big Harryhausen film and some Dracula films in a big collection from Viavision. A lot of fun. Baloney says Paul Robeson includes portraits of the artist Body and Soul Borderline, so that is one of the ones Kino Lorber's doing. Emperor Jones, tribute to an artist, Sanders of the River, Jericho, Proud Valley, and Native Land. Okay, so if Kino puts out 4 of them, there's still a bunch more. That's a big set. Kevin says Vivacious Lady is a good one. JT, DJ, speaking of a wish list, how do I access yours on Amazon? It's in every video description. Just go down. I know nobody reads the description, but it's in the description if you want to go there. It's also on like the main, like if you just go to my main channel page. Let's see if I can click on this without it automatically playing a video. There we go. You go to my main channel page and hit this little link tree button right here. It is also right there. Amazon wishlist if you want to get to it that way. But it's in every description of every video I do, so you can just find it down there. And the P.O. Box address is also down there, which is how some people have been sending me stuff lately, which has been a lot of fun. Dan's Dan, if I ever get around to doing a consistent podcast, I want to do one pre-code cinema. Everything and anything from 34 or earlier, silent foreign language, nothing would be off limits. That would be an awesome podcast. I would love it. I love that kind of stuff. Ethan Edwards says Pat Garrett actually has a bad reputation, developed a cult following, but it got terrible reviews. The Wild Bunch and Ride the High Country are the 2 great peck and paw westerns. Yeah, sometimes you can get skewed. Like sometimes I feel like if someone were to come in nowadays and hear about like After Hours and how everybody loves it, you would get a different representation of what actually happened at the time. Because sometimes I think there's a lot of stuff like that are big cult classics nowadays that nobody liked at the time. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life is an example of that. PTP, love Bring Me the Head. Heck, anything with Warren Oates. Hey, has Dillinger come out on Blu-ray? I don't know. Somebody let him know. Alexander, I have the Pioneer set, but haven't got around to diving into it yet. It's a really nice looking set. I was actually looking at it earlier on eBay, but it's super cheap right now on Kino, so I might as well just get it there. Patrick says that Soundies set from Kino is wonderful too. A ton of great musical performances from the first half of the 20th century. You guys are killing me. You guys are breaking my wallet. But they're on sale right now, so maybe I should. I've been tempted by so many things right now. I have some stuff like from Umbrella that I want to get. I have some stuff. I just made my Flickr Alley order, so I told you those 2 things. I actually got a 3rd thing in there that I'm very excited about, but there's also some Vinegar Syndrome stuff coming out that I really want to get. They just announced an Eric Romer film. There's a Visconti film from Film Movement, which is a partner label of Vincent that I also want to get. And there's a Close Your Eyes. Is it Close Your Eyes? That's also almost, it's like got 300 copies left, so I have to get that before it goes out of print. Anyway, no one cares. No one cares what you're contemplating buying, DJ. Kevin House, the only thing I don't like about the Kino Lorber sale is that you have to spend at least $60 to get free shipping. Well, that is nothing, my friend, because usually it's $100. Umbrella is $140 to get free shipping. So $60 is great. I'll take $60. I think Viavision is even higher than, I think it's like $200 to get free shipping because it's all the way over in Australia and they got to get their money out of it, but it's tough. It's a bummer, and it really works. I always add at least enough stuff in my cart to get free shipping. I did that with Flickr Alley. I bought 3 things. It was like $99, and it included free shipping. So that was great. Baloney, if you are making a Criterion purchase list for the next sale, I recommend Scarface and Showboat, 32 and 36. I just watched both, and I was impressed. I don't have either of those. Those both need to be on my list. Those are 30s films. JT, DJ, thank you. That's what I get for not reading the description. How embarrassing. No, not at all. No one reads the description anymore, especially because YouTube like hides it completely, so you have to click to view it. Patrick Craig, I definitely want to get some Vinegar Syndrome partner label releases in the halfway to Black Friday sale. Yeah, when is that? I guess that's coming up soon. Maybe I should just wait. That's a good point. I should maybe just wait. But I know one of them is going out of print. It's only got like 300 left, so I don't want to lose that one. But the other two I can probably wait for. I don't think Eric Romer is going to be flying off the shelves anytime soon. Ethan Edwards, I've got way too much in my Kino cart. I have to whittle down after I eat dinner. I had the Soundies set in it, but took it out. Now you're tempting me. Sorry, man. There's a lot. You know what? I should probably do that kind of stream. I know some YouTubers, I don't even think of myself as a YouTuber. I think of myself as a this is just a hobby for me. I feel like in order to call yourself a YouTuber, you have to be doing this as a living, which I will never do. So I see other guys on here that do these kind of sale browsing videos with their like live streams. I should do that more often. We did that once with the Vincent sale. It was actually last year on the halfway to Black Friday sale. So maybe we should do that again. But I would love to just go through this list and look at all the things that are on sale and get your guys' recommendations. That'd be a fun live stream, and I should probably do that. But I don't know. There's a lot. So the Jewish one is only $17, so that's not too bad. But some of the other ones are big box sets. Man, I'm tempted. Okay. It's too late now because this is the last day of the sale, so we can't do another live stream. My voice will not hold up for another live stream, but I'm going to do a little shopping after this. And of course, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Magnitude Rev says Criterion is like $85 for free shipping. So yeah, a little bit higher. Marty says being a cinephile is expensive between physical media, movie scores, and soundtracks. Making up film books and movie memorabilia, toys, and collectibles, my wallet doesn't just hurt, it's on life support. Yeah, I can't do memorabilia or toys, and I have none of that stuff. I can't afford that. I spend too much money on movies to add anything else. And I also can't do scores and soundtracks. We were joking around, and like recently in a Barnes & Noble video, we were looking at the soundtracks, and they're like $40-$50, some of them. And people in the comments were like, that is a dangerous game. Don't get into scores and soundtracks. That's an expensive hobby. I can't afford another expensive hobby. Our hobby is just buying stuff. Like that's literally the hobby. Most hobbies you get into, like if you get into skiing, it's very expensive. Well, that's a bad example because skiing is always expensive. But if you get into like, I don't know, one-wheeling, like you have to pay a lot of money up front to buy the thing, and then you don't have to pay any more money. You just do it. Most hobbies are like that, but our hobby is just continuous consumerism, which is kind of a problem. But I don't know, as long as you're responsible and stick to a budget, it's fun. 12-pack, I'm hyped for the 4K releases of Mouse Hunt. It's one of my all-time favorites. Wow, I didn't know that was coming out. That's one that I watched at my grandma's house. Too young. I was too young when I watched. I mean, it's not that bad. I remember there's one uncomfortable scene, the little like seduction scene when he has the little yarn balls. That, to my little child brain, I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to be watching this. But that was my grandma. She showed me all kinds of stuff. Nothing like super bad, but like stuff that I probably shouldn't have been watching yet. Marty, no free shipping for us Canadians. We've constantly overpaying with exchange rates. We pay $1.30 Canadian for $1. We need to catch a break up north. Yeah, sorry about that. I always hear, I got this, I mean, they're all they're like the sweetest guys, these Canadians, but they always bring up the shipping thing, which sucks. Like we complain about it down here, but we got most stuff produced in-house, like, except for like the big Australian companies like Viavision or Imprint. They'll charge you $30 to ship something. I was just recently looking at some of the Viavision limited edition box sets because I talked about the Jason and the Argonauts and the Dracula set. So I was like, oh, I want to get the new upcoming. They're doing a Wolfman, and they've already done a Mummy set, and then they're doing Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. So they're like doing these continued lines. I want to get the Mummy one and the Abbott and Costello one. They're both $50. Like, oh, super, not even that bad, $100. But then with shipping, it's like $140 or something. It's way more expensive. And like I said, the threshold for free shipping is like $200. It's very high. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get those. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait till someone puts them on eBay. I think I saw the Abbott Costello one on eBay for like $60. So maybe I'll have to just do that. Dan's Den, trust me, buying scores is not easy. Signed a person who owns a couple of those. Yeah, and there's so many scores that aren't in print anymore that I'd like to get. Like I really want the Picnic at Hanging Rock score. That's one of my favorite scores of all time. I would love to get the Tati collection. There's a Jacques Tati collection that has like, I would love to get the complete scores, but I think you have to get the collection that has like selected works from each movie. It's not everything, but I love Jacques Tati's scores, especially Monsieur Lo's Holiday, Playtime, and Mon Oncle. Those three have some of my favorite scores of all time. Marty says scores and soundtracks, labels like Entrada, La La Land Records, and Varese Sarbande, all those limited editions too, like 3,000 to 5,000 copies for titles. That's crazy. See, I can't. Don't even tempt me. I can't get in on that. The yarn ball scene was hilarious. Kino's coming out with the 4K for that one. That's awesome. I hadn't heard about that. That's a really fun release. Baloney, a couple of months ago, I went through Criterion's catalog and purchased all of the early titles I wanted. A few were only on DVD, but to get those early films, I didn't mind. See, I'm exactly the same way. This is what I'm doing. Oh, I just hit my knee on the cabinet. I don't know if you could hear that. Yeah, I want to get some of those early titles. If there is no other release, like if the DVD from Criterion is the only one, I'll go ahead and pick up the DVD. But if there is a Blu-ray, I like these Flickr Alley ones I just got, I'd like to at least try to get those, especially if they're from a nice boutique label like Flickr Alley, which does great stuff. Google's part of the fun. My voice is going. We're going to have to wrap this one up in the next few minutes because I am almost completely out of a voice. Google's part of the fun of this hobby is hunting for the best price, but even that is being taken from us when everything sells out before release. Well, there you go. He's getting us back on track. Yeah, it's a bummer. Most of the stuff I buy is already like out of print or from boutique labels that nobody else is buying, so it's still in print. So, but I feel for you guys who want to get the big releases, and it sucks when you're trying to, because some of you want to wait and get a good price later on, and then there's just no chance. It's either pay like $65 now from Disney or wait and then have to pay like $150 on eBay later, which is no fun for anybody. But I don't know. It's a give and take. Like the industry is booming right now, but it's partially because it's becoming a collector's market and people are buying stuff just to resell it, which I think is annoying, but it also kind of keeps the industry alive a little bit. It's complicated. Ethan, if you do another Kino haul, Love Me Tonight, Good Fairy, Christmas in July, Dr. Cyclops, Tarnished Angels, and the Truffaut films are all musts and going out of print. Oh, see, now he's tempting me with out of print stuff. Ugh. I almost said something, Ethan, that I don't say on live streams, but thank you. I appreciate the recommendations. My wallet does not, though. Outside of my hobby of movie collecting, my other expensive hobby of mine is photography. Over the course of 7 years, I now own around $10,000 in gear, though I do use it partially for my career. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I would love to invest in like a really nice camera, but it's just, I never have any money left over because my hobby is just buying movies. So all my money goes to movies. I don't buy anything else for myself. Like I don't even buy clothes. I'm still wearing like the same shoes I've been wearing for like 10 years. Internet user, I recently rewatched The African Queen. Still think it's great. Their chemistry is contagious. It is. And I just picked that one up. Let me know if you're going to pick up, there's a 4K from Studio Canal, I think. That's another label that I'm trying desperately not to jump into. There's a bunch of great Studio Canal releases. The Third Man, The Wicker Man. We've also got some, I've been a bad boy. I've been looking at a lot of Studio Canal stuff on eBay and very expensive out of print stuff that I shouldn't be looking at, but that's what I do. Baloney, I'm bowing out, everyone. DJ is becoming speechless. Good night. Yeah, I probably should too. I think that's everything in the chat. Thank you guys so much for popping in tonight. Had a great time. We were just talking about whatever tonight. We didn't really stay on topic, but I enjoyed it. I always do enjoy talking to you guys. I'm going to go look at some Kino Lorber releases, and I'll talk to you later in the comments afterwards. I'm going to get some more videos up this week. We should be getting back on track, although I am going out of town again this week for a wedding that my son is the ring bearer in on my wife's side of the family. So maybe a little light towards the end of the week, but I'm going to try to get up as many videos as I can for you guys. And I'll talk to you in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, keep collecting.